From the town of Wairika, we launched into an arid canyon quest heading north. We'd picked this path just to dodge the boring interstate, but wow, this scrappy little gorge turned into an exhilarating morning blast. The road was cut into the rocky canyon walls, soaring hundreds of feet above the Shasta River far below. We zipped across bridges over Dry Gulch and the Shasta River and past Modoc Gulch, racing toward a rendezvous with the Klamath River Highway. What a great wake-up drive. Connecting with the Klamath River Highway, we turned west toward the small town of Happy Camp, 60 miles away. For the next half hour, the scenery stuck to a strict theme: rocks, dry sage-green shrubs, and a minimalist collection of trees clinging to the riverbanks. The road followed the Klamath River as it lazily meandered along the valley floor, clearly enjoying a slower pace of life. Every so often, an odd homestead or tiny settlement would flash by, along with dirt roads wandering up into the hills like side quests we wisely declined. Despite the bright blue sky overhead, the morning stubbornly stayed cool. As we neared Happy Camp, the landscape shifted to taller, denser evergreen forests with a much thicker understory. The air grew hazier as smoke from nearby wildfires began seeping into the valley, and fire engines and crew trucks started appearing with increasing regularity. By the time we reached Happy Camp, the valley was blanketed in smoke, giving the place an air of dread that felt decidedly out of sync with its cheerful name. From Happy Camp, we turned north and headed up another valley on Grayback Road, following Indian Creek as we began the climb over the mountains into Oregon. Signs of past fires were everywhere, with burned tree trunks lining the road like blackened spikes. What little greenery remained grew thinner the farther north we went and the higher we climbed. This damage was from a fire several years back, though, already, pockets of green shrubs were reclaiming the hillsides. Before long, we passed a sign cheerfully warning, "Hazard, road ahead not maintained." Naturally, we kept going. Sure enough, California had clearly stopped putting much effort into the road, but it hadn't yet reached the turnaround or regret everything stage. Between the lingering smoke and the burned-out forest, the whole scene felt strangely surreal. This turned out to be the worst of the road hazards, sections of pavement that had settled unevenly, complete with cracks and bumps. Definitely not the kind of surface a sports car would dream about, but the rough patches were limited. We simply slowed down and bumped our way through without much trouble. Near the pass, we found a pull-off where we could stop for a photo op. While the horrible wildfires caused havoc for the local communities, the hazy valley made for an arresting backdrop. We stretched our legs, took a few photos, and moved on. Personally, the pics of the Silver NC were the best. Crossing back into Oregon felt like someone finally hit the premium road upgrade button. 1 second we're bouncing along California's neglected obstacle course, the next, shazam! Silky smooth asphalt appears, complete with actual lane markings that haven't been eaten by entropy. I half expected a choir of angels and a sign saying welcome to civilization, population, people who believe in road maintenance. The pavement was still glistening from a recent rain, but it was the kind of damp that makes you whisper ooh, nice instead of oh no, hydroplane city. As we dropped out of the Siskiyou Mountains, we rolled through more of that post-burn forest scenery. The open hillsides, though, served up some absolutely epic views down into the Illinois Valley, like the mountains were flexing just to show off. Then came the descent, a glorious parade of tight switchbacks and a downright artistic collection of hairpins. Not sure who was giggling more, as are the Miatas. Once we dropped into the valley and escaped the Siskiyous, we set off on a grand sweeping arc, first north, then southeast through the Applegate Valley. Along the way we discovered some fantastic backroads out to Lake Selmick and had a great time playing on them, surrounded by modest evergreens and just enough early fall color to remind us that summer was on borrowed time. All morning the pavement was still damp from recent rains, but the clouds politely restrained themselves, allowing us to keep the tops down the entire time. By the time we completed the arc into the Applegate River Valley, the weather flipped the switch, dry roads, warm sunshine, and blue skies overhead. It's pretty amazing how the weather can change completely in just a few miles. At last, proper driving weather again. With the Applegate Valley's farm fields shrinking in the rearview mirror, we followed Sterling Creek upstream, climbing out of the valley and into low forests of pine and oak. The underbrush dried out once more, and flashes of golden grassland appeared, punctuated by time-worn barns and well-used ranching relics that looked like they'd seen a few stories. The road narrowed, tightening up and transformed into a winding roller coaster of pavement, dipping, twisting, and weaving beneath the mixed tree cover as if it were showing off. By then hunger had entered the conversation, and with our lunch destination just ahead, every curve felt like it was shaving precious seconds off the wait. By early afternoon, we rolled into the gold rush-era town of Jacksonville, Oregon, more than ready for a late lunch. With its remarkably well-preserved core of old brick buildings, it felt like stepping back in time, just with better parking. We settled into La Fiesta, a Mexican restaurant boasting a colorful rooftop deck with a perfect view of Main Street. After a hearty and delicious meal, we shifted into full relaxation mode, lounging on shaded sidewalk benches and polishing things off with ice cream cones from Violets and Cream, the candy shop at street level. History, good food, and dessert. Jacksonville clearly understands priorities and made for one of the better stops along the journey. Once we were refueled, both ourselves and the Miatas, we blasted south on I-5, one of the rare and necessary freeway interludes. This brief bout of efficiency was merely a means to an end, reaching the old Siskiyou Highway and what promised to be another glorious stretch of twisty pavement. It did not disappoint. Largely forgotten after the interstate took over, this serpentine ribbon of road now serves mostly a handful of scattered homes and drivers in the know. Tight hairpins spiraled down the slopes of Mount Ashland, eventually following Hill Creek out of the forest and toward Emigrant Lake. As enjoyable as the old highway was, it couldn't hold a candle to the spectacular climb into the Ashland Hills southeast of Emigrant Lake. This winding road absolutely delivered, stacking fantastically tight curves against an ever more dramatic landscape the higher we climbed. And climb we did, along with the revs, 6,000 RPM and beyond, all in 99-degree heat, the entire way up. The Miatas, unfazed and unbothered, kept their cool with zero signs of overheating. Meanwhile, the grassy hillsides, dotted with sparse trees, opened up sweeping views of the valley behind us, making it hard to decide whether to focus on the road ahead or the scenery we just conquered. Sure, there was a scenic overlook or two, but we just could not stop driving. Eventually, the road crested a plateau and dove back into a tree-covered landscape. We peeled off the main highway and shot north along an unmarked, but mercifully paved, Forest Service road. Almost immediately, the air turned noticeably cooler, a welcome reward after the relentless climb. In time, the forest road delivered us to a double yellow backroad tracing the shores of a quiet reservoir. With the scenery finally insisting on our full attention, we pulled over, stretched our legs, and took a moment to simply admire the view, watching gentle waves lap against the shore, enjoying the pause. Following our stretch break, the forest road guided us through a sequence of gentle, flowing curves amid the trees before suddenly emerging at the edge of Vesper Meadow. To our right, far in the distance, Mount McLaughlin towered above a dark ribbon of forest, with the lower, wider cinder cone of Brown Mountain rising to its south. The sweeping, open views across the meadow provided a striking contrast to the confined path we just navigated through the woods. As the afternoon wore on, we departed Vesper Meadow and plunged back into the forest, starting our descent from the plateau. The initial stretch stayed among the trees as we dropped past Hooper Springs and through Icehouse Canyon, winding through a series of switchbacks. Here and there, we caught teasing glimpses of the valley spreading out ahead. Once again, luck was on our side with a nearly deserted road and no vehicles ahead of us. Navigating deep hollows signaled our shift from dense forested slopes to open grasslands. The road alternated sides along a wide, golden ridgeback as we neared the valley below. It was an exhilarating descent, a fitting highlight to cap off our fourth day, allowing us to finish early and make our way to Grants Pass for the night.